Hi, Gene here with today's thought. And today's thought might be a little surprising. As the title said, I'm making the case that Trump, having lost in 2020, having won, right, being elected in 2016, but losing in 2020 and then coming back now, how that might have been a good thing or a blessing in disguise is how I put it. Now, I don't want to minimize how terrible the 4 years without Trump have been, the massive inflation that we had and the foreign policy failures and Afghanistan, and I just don't want to, I don't have to give you the whole list. We all lived through it, so we all know. But now he's coming into office, and if he had won, if he had won in 2020, then obviously we would not have had the massive inflation. Israel, with Gaza and everything, and then the Ukraine, that probably would have been different. So in a lot of ways, it was bad that he didn't win, but had he was, you're seeing it now, and this is what I want to talk about. The blessing in disguise is first of all, his personnel choices. Now, if he obviously, would he have replaced a lot of the people that he's replacing now? If they were there and he was going right into the second term, would he have fired all those people or asked them to resign? I mean, it does happen. People leave the administrations at the end of a first administration. New people come in, but he would have had just, about 70 days, a day in between the having won the election and then taking the oath on January 20th, 2021. But now he has had, because he was out for 4 years, and remember the deep state, the quote unquote deep state, and all and who knows what other case. Well, imagine that the Democrats still controlled Congress, for instance, so you'd maybe have another impeachment, more investigations. You would have Jack Smith continuing his witch hunts, so on and so forth. But now that is all gone. But what I want to talk about today is he has had 4 years to prepare for coming back into office. And that's what he was doing during the 4 years and in the campaign. So it looks like he is hitting the ground running. And in fact, one of the things he's requiring of, as you probably know, now that the Republicans have now won back control of Congress, of the Senate, they have to pick a majority leader because Mitch McConnell is retiring, and I'll endorse Rick Scott. Real quickly, that's my choice. But anyways, that's another story for another day. What we're talking about today is that Trump is not putting his thumb on the scale. He's not. Other people around him, for instance, Elon Musk has endorsed Rick Scott. But again, that's for another day. The point is that Trump himself is not anointed or endorsed any of the three candidates. But what he did say is that whoever the candidate is, he wants them to agree to recess appointments. Now, what is a recess appointment, if you didn't know? A recess appointment is that, he is now going to choose his cabinet, and hopefully they'll all just very quickly get a hearing and go through. But there are parliamentary maneuvers, I understand, that Democrats can employ, even though they are in the minority, to not stop but slow down the process. And when he was president the first term, he was waiting. He had to wait. It took 2.5 years to get some people, some of his choices confirmed for the cabinet, and then by then, of course, his administration was half over. Now, what the remedy to that is a recess appointment, which is that when Congress recesses and an appointment has to be made, the president can make an appointment and that person would stay in office either for I honestly don't remember, either a year or something, some specific amount of time, or until Congress can choose a replacement. I think it's for a year, so a set amount of time. But the point is that if the Democrats start to stall, I was going to say definitely at the earliest recess, and the Senate does recess, the president would be able to, Trump would be able to appoint, make a recess appointment and get these people in right away. Now, what I'm wondering, maybe somebody knows more than I do and could put it in the comments, whether these recesses are at specific set times, or can the majority leader call one? And that would obviously be the ideal situation if the Democrats stall or employ stalling tactics. Then Trump, the majority leader, whoever that turns out to be, could immediately call a recess, and Trump could appoint the people that he wants, and they would be in office at least for a year. Now, I don't know why the Democrats would do something like that, considering how overwhelming Trump's victory was, right? 312 electoral votes. He's got the Senate. It looks like he's on the verge of retaining control of the House. But the shellacking that they got, that's the term of art, I guess, for losing an election very badly. They always say shellacking. So after this shellacking, I would think that the people, the crypto guys who are very happy with Trump, they donated tens of millions of dollars to his campaign, and they all are already donating money to the House to increase, and maybe the Senate, but I know for sure the House, the Republican National Congressional Committee, to elect more Republican representatives in the next midterms. So in 2026. So the point is that they would be very foolish to throw monkey wrenches into what Trump wants to do, because he has a mandate. But you never know with these guys. Definitely the squad, all the crazy leftists, they'll try to do what they can. So it's up to Hakeem Jeffries, who the minority leader in the Senate, and not in the Senate, in the House, to deal with that. But getting back to the main point, that Trump has had 4 years. So what he has done, well, he's already made some excellent choices, because he's had a chance he's had 4 years to decide who he wants to be in his cabinet, to have other positions. So we already know that he's chosen, I'm looking at my notes here. Well, Susie Wiles, we already know that. She will be the first, oh, by the way, so Trump being a misogynist and all that, he will have the first female chief of staff ever in American history. So there you go. And Rick Grinnell, I'm going to get to next. He is going to be, he's on. I don't know if the offer has been formally made, but it's pretty sure that because I can't imagine him refusing or not. But he will be almost certainly the next Secretary of State. Rick Grinnell, as many of you may know, he is gay, and also Germany should be happy, because Rick Grinnell was the ambassador to the U.S. ambassador to Germany. As far as I know, he was well liked over there. So Germans at least should be happy. Even if they're not happy with Trump, they should be happy with Grinnell. Stephen Miller, who you may have, he is the founder of the First America Legal Foundation, who was instituted and won all these suits, these election integrity suits and other suits. But he was advising Trump during his campaign. He's been on TV a lot talking about immigration, but he's going to be the deputy chief of staff. That's already set. Elise Stefanik, if you know her, she is very well. If you're an Israel supporter, she is strongly pro-Israel, but she's a staunch conservative in any case, and she's going to be the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. And by the way, all you Democrats accusing Trump of not wanting to surround himself with smart, strong women, and being, the misogynist. And I was like, okay, so another female, okay, in a high position, UN ambassador. Who else have we got here that I know about? Oh, Tom Homan. Okay, now that's very important. You may have seen he's very strong. He's going to be the immigration czar. Okay, so first of all, if he's a czar and not a cabinet appointee, he doesn't have to be vetted by the Senate. So he takes office right away. And he's going to handle immigration. He's very tough on immigration. He's been interviewed a couple of times now. And he said, yeah, the mass deportations are going to happen. They are definitely going to happen. And so those are just his cabinet picks so far, but they are very good. But he's also, I have to talk about something called Section F. Now, Section F, that's a special category of federal employee. Now, most of they have a union now, which was stupid. You can thank JFK for that. But so these federal employees, they have a union. It's very hard, almost impossible to fire them unless they are a section or a Schedule F. I think it's Section F. I'm not sure. Anyways, a special appointment, they can be fired. And Trump he had started to do that in his first administration, to categorize certain employees as category F, so that he could just summarily fire them. So now he is going to do that again, expand them, and he is going to presumably fire a lot of employees who were slow walking, the resistance, people who were not carrying out his lawful orders, and for either that or slow walking them. So what he's putting into this category is anybody who has within their purview making decisions or influencing decisions, like Trump's decisions, or implementing them, or able to influence. In other words, all the people who could gum up the works and throw a monkey wrench into the gears, they will be gone, okay? And he is making, presumably, I only read this once, so we'll see how it pans out, but I had read that he has already been interviewing people and has a list of thousands of employees, potential employees. He's been looking at resumes, people he can put in right away, immediately. And I think now the name Kash Patel comes into mind. I think he's going to have maybe director of national security, or maybe he's head of the CIA, something like that. There's going to be a lot of swamp cleaning going on, and Trump will be putting, all indications are, he will be putting into position people who will clean up the deep state, the FBI, the seventh floor of this FBI, where all the leaders, where Chris Wray is. Well, he's gone, I'm sure. So he's gone. All these people, and the CIA, and national intelligence, and there was another name that just popped into my head and I can't remember. I said Kash Patel. There's someone else that it's not a person. He has pledged, I'm really hoping for this, pledged to abolish the Department of Education. You can tell by looking at me, I was actually not just born but educated before the Department of Education was created by Jimmy Carter in 1980 for whatever reason. Well, the reason was to make teachers' unions happy, to placate teachers, and send a sop to them, throw a sop to them. But I can tell you, having grown up and been educated, well, education was much better when it was local, when the states handled education. When I was educated, education was better in America before the establishment of the Department of Education, and, by the way, before the establishment of teachers' unions, because teacher unions, like all unions, their purpose is to serve its members, and in this case teachers, to get them more money, to get more teachers hired and paying union dues. They're not dedicated to the kids. That's a problem. You have an auto union is different. They just build cars, but here you're talking about human lives, educating children, and these unions, they're the other solution is, we need more money, but education, especially in Chicago, for instance, education gets worse. So many kids are not reading and doing math at grade level since the union. And I very much remember when I was maybe 13, 14, when they started, we used to learn math the traditional way, and then something came in, the new math, and it just didn't make sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of children, which is why they're doing so badly at math. So that everything is, I am very hopeful as a conservative that I'm going to see, the tax, the Trump tax cuts will stay in place. It will not expire, and then you're going to have, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, which makes me, I guess, happy because I'm getting Social Security. But it's just for your information, it doesn't affect Social Security that much. He doesn't know that. It affects it, but Social Security, if I have an outside job, which I do, then part of my 85% of Social Security can be taxed, but there's 15% that can never be taxed. So I guess I'll expand it from 15% to 100%. But my whole point to wind this up is that all these things are going to be happening from day one, because Trump knows he's just got 4 years now, and he has had 4 years to prepare all this stuff. And he also had 4 years. I'll just throw this in. I keep throwing stuff in. A lot of people are wondering, why did Trump win? How did he win this time? And why the second question, why are Republicans not complaining about election fraud? And the point is, because during those 4 years, Ronna McDaniel was out, and Mike Whatley and Laura Trump were in, and they got thousands of lawyers to guarantee, election integrity. They brought, I think, something like 132 suits against various states and local jurisdictions who were not following the election laws, not cleaning their voter rolls especially, and so on and so forth. But they also had roaming lawyers on election day, and because they did it again, the Democrats did it again. There were several counties where they refused to let Republican observers come in, and this time, as soon as that happened, call on the cell phone, and within minutes, a lawyer would show up and say, okay, you let him in or we will be in court. This is what one of them said: let them in now or we will be in court within 15 minutes. And they let them in. So that's one reason. And there was one county that wanted to do what Fulton County did, which Fulton County now, as I understand, was being closely supervised by the state of Georgia, so that there was no, hanky-panky there. But some other election center tried to do what Fulton County did in the midterms, which was they said, okay, it's late at night, we're going to shut down now, we'll come back in the morning, and we're not going to count. And the lawyers were there, and they said, no, the law says you keep counting and you don't shut down, and you keep counting or we will be in court 15 minutes. They said, oh, okay, yeah, and they kept counting, and they let the Republicans in to observe. So it wasn't just issues, and I can make my, there's no way to prove one way or the other, so I can give you my opinion, though, that I think if Laura Trump and Michael Whatley had been in charge and had the lawyers and taken the precautions that they did this time in 2022, that if they'd done it in 2020, that Trump would have won, and that if they'd done it in 2022, that the Republicans would have done much better in the midterms. So, and that plus also they did early voting now, and and they did with the Democrats. So they said, well, they're going to do it, we're going to do it. So they did early voting, they did ballot harvesting, which also portends good for the future, because if you take away the advantage that Democrats had with early voting and mail voting, then it might be easier to do what Trump and I endorse, which is paper ballots, same day voting, and Trump hasn't said this, but others have, make Election Day a national holiday, so nobody has to go to work. Everybody stays. You have all day. to go and vote. And then paper ballots are no excuse for not. If you've got all day to vote, and you don't have to just like take an hour off at the, go in after work or get up early in the morning, take an hour off at lunch. So that's all these things I see are good, and it's because of the time that Trump and his associates had to prepare. And that's my thought for today. Apparently, many thoughts for today that I got in here. So, as I said, they had Trump had 4 years to prepare. You have an unlimited time, but you don't really need that much time to subscribe to this channel, so I would hope you would. In any case, comments always welcome below this video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.